Welcome back. We're on day 3 of 5 days to fill my freezer. I took out some meat from the freezer and I am going to get a bunch of different marinated meats ready. I usually don't take meat out of my freezer to do this, but I didn't have any fresh meat and I didn't really see any good sales on meat, so I am using meat that I already had frozen. I'm going to get these bags dried off a little bit, and since they're already in a bag, I can just use those bags, so I can kind of skip a step today. I am going to make each of these into a different marinated meat, and some of them are going to be meant for the air fryer because they are bites. Some of them are going to be meant for the grill, and the only work that I have to do cutting wise is I'm going to make some meatballs. So I have meat here, and then I also am going to make some diced steak bites, and so I need to dice these up. But other than that, everything is pretty much ready for me. So I took these out of the freezer last night, and then today I got them into a cold water defrost. And so we are pretty much ready to go. Now, if you missed it, I've already done 2 days to fill my freezer. So what I did on those first 2 days is I made single serve freezer meals, which are awesome. We only have 2 left of those pizza bombs and only 2 of the tacos. And so those went really fast. I had a pancake with sausage for breakfast and it was delicious. I just put a little bit of syrup on it. Yes, I did end up opening the syrup and getting it in the fridge. So we are on to marinate meat. Let's get started. Okay, I think this is gonna go pretty quickly today. It's kind of like an easier one. We're not doing a whole lot of cooking. This one's going to be honey buffalo chicken thighs. I keep wanting to say honey barbecue. There are kids outside jumping on the trampoline, so if you can hear them, that's what's going on. Not my trampoline, not my kids, but they are having a lot of fun. So I'm going to add a little bit of buffalo sauce, and then about half as much honey as I added buffalo sauce. See, I did it again. Isn't that funny? This is going to be meant for the grill. Okay. And then I need to add some garlic cloves, and then salt, pepper, and parsley. Hi.
Hi.
Yeah. Drink tea. No. No, it's all right, let's get this one all mixed up, and our first one is done. Okay, one done. I wish that I had more to be able to use for grilling, but I have these chicken thighs and these chicken breasts, and that's it for like full-sized meat. I need to go shopping and find a good deal. First one done. Okay, next up, I'm going to make fajita chicken. This is the same recipe that I made last time I made marinated meats. It was so good. I ended up putting it in the air fryer, which was part of what made me decide to do this one in dices since I only had a few grillable sizes. So since I'd already done it in the air fryer and I loved it that way, I figured let's do it again. I have some avocado oil here, and it's just in a little container because when I went on my trip, I put some in little containers. I ended up not taking the avocado. I took the olive oil instead. So that's why, funny little container of oil. Wonder if I should do another one. That's probably enough. So we need honey again, and then lime juice. And this was probably my favorite fajita chicken that I've ever made. I usually just use like a fajita seasoning and that's it. Oh, that was probably way too much honey. That's okay. Okay, lime juice, and there's not a whole ton left. Going heavy on the lime juice because I went heavy on the honey. I feel like I can balance it out that way. Does that work, or does it just end up being heavy all around? I'm going to get some garlic in. And then all the spices. So salt and pepper, of course. And I'm going to add garlic powder even though I just added garlic, and then we'll add onion powder. Oh, that garlic powder's oily. Oily from when we made those little pizza bombs. Those were so good. And then cumin, chili powder, and paprika. That's what gives us the taco flavor. Ooh, that might have been a bit much. Okay, them up. Oh my gosh. Chili powder. My thought is I usually do them really flat to freeze them. I wonder if I should leave it kind of like this shape so it'll fit well in the air fryer. Okay, we are getting past the super easy ones. I think there's one super easy one left. This calls for sweet chili, and if you had sweet chili sauce, this would be a lot easier and quicker. I do not, so I'm going to do a little bit of vinegar, and where'd the sugar go? I feel like there it is. I grabbed it, I shouldn't bring it far enough. A little bit of sugar, a little bit of ketchup. Whoops, well, that's okay. I might need more sugar. And then a little bit of sriracha. And this is something I would usually make on the stove, but I'm just gonna stick it in the microwave. I'm gonna add a little bit more sugar though. Just about 30 seconds. I'm just wanting to melt that sugar. This one's called Sweet Chili Coconut Lime. So I'm also going to do coconut and lime. We did the sweet chili. I need to finish the sauce though once it comes out. To finish it, we are going to use red pepper flakes and garlic. Okay, that's melting. Let's add our garlic in. Whew. Smells spicy. Hopefully I didn't put too much spice in there. A little bit of red pepper flakes. And I'm just going to add the lime and coconut milk straight to it, and then we'll pour it in the bag. Everything else is gonna need lemon if it calls for lime. This is almost gone too. Probably should have used full fat, but for just that little bit, I think regular is fine. That smells interesting. All right. Do we think we need more sugar? Yeah, probably. Pretty bitter. And this is going onto chicken breasts that we can then grill up. Now you could also put cornstarch in your sweet chili sauce to make it be thick, but I figure it's just a marinade. We don't need it to be thick, like if it were a glaze. You know what I'm not doing is labeling. Oh my, I should probably do that. Okay. Because these bags were already labeled, I forgot. Okay, so let's see. This is chili lime. And this one is fajita. What was the first one that we did? Honey and one of these things. It was honey buffalo. Okay, back in business. These ones are gonna be lemon chicken bites. So we've got another easy one, and then we'll get on to the two that require a little bit more effort. Are you one of those people who like to do like the quickest things first, so that way you feel like you're really making progress, and then do the things that take longer? Because that's me. All right, we need lemon, oil, garlic, oregano is not out here, and thyme. Oregano, thyme, paprika, salt, pepper. We'll do garlic powder as well. Okay, that seems pretty easy. We're gonna put the last little bit of oil here. No butter. That's interesting. I guess oil. Lemon. Garlic. Pepper's already open. Okay, that one was so easy. Mix it up, label it. Oh, I did. I already did that. I used to not think marinades were worthwhile because I'm like, we could just marinate it really quickly. And what I found was, yes, you can marinate meat pretty quickly, but I'm typically not going to take the time to find the marinade. So if I have a bunch of different ones already ready, then that's great. Otherwise, I just end up doing like the exact same thing every time I marinate meat. The store's trying to get me to spend money by giving me notifications. Okay. Here we go. Which one should we do next? Okay, I'm going to do garlic butter steak bites. I've got this rinsed out. Let's see what we need. We need butter, garlic, thyme, rosemary, not out, salt, pepper, parsley, and oil. So let's get this butter. Butter? Wait. I wonder why it calls for both. Going to melt the butter. And in the meantime, we can get our steaks out to dice them. Our butter is mostly melted. Let's add a little bit of oil to it. Get our spices in. Yes, I know I keep opening and closing them. It's kind of just a habit. Almost harder to leave it open than it is to reclose it. Whoa. Now I still have 2 days of this challenge, the 5 days to fill my freezer. So I'm going to do some family-sized freezer meals that can just go in the oven or even in the air fryer because our family-sized containers fit in the air fryer. And then I'm also going to do desserts. We are almost out of candy, and I know candy won't fill the freezers, but I think I want to restock a little bit of our candy while I'm doing it. I'm also going to make a delicious apple cake. I've seen this recipe and it's been on my list of things to make for a very long time. I think I'm finally going to get around to it. And we don't have any like desserts in our freezer, which we usually do. So I'm excited to add desserts in. I'm going to make some chocolate chip cookies that we can just keep rolled up into balls in the freezer. So I'm excited for that. I got these steaks on sale. They ended up being, what was it, $4.50 a pound, I think, at Safeway a few months ago. They were cheaper than the ground beef. The ground beef, well, I guess the ground beef has been $4.50, so basically the same price as the ground beef. And a lot of times, instead of buying steaks, I will buy like a roast because it's cheaper. But this meat is a much better cut. It's not like a perfect steak cut, but it's much better than if I were using a roast. Okay, let's get these all back in the bag. I am debating on if there's enough garlic in this garlic butter sauce, so I'm going to add some. Okay, now get this in here. I'm so excited for this, but what I don't have right now is potatoes, and I don't know, I'm not the biggest fan of buying potatoes because I can just get them from my garden, but I don't have any right now, so we might need to. This is garlic butter, and we are already on to our last one, which is meatballs, so a little bit more effort again. I really like that I decided to spread this all out this time. A lot of times I'll do so many freezer meals in one day, but I had been doing like a 1 hour dedicated to freezer meals, and that was so much more manageable. So that's what I decided to do now. I mean, I spent probably 2.5 hours each day the 2 days before, maybe not quite that much, but it's been super nice to be able to not have to do a bunch at once. All right, here's the meat. I think I'm gonna try to mix it up on here. Let me review what I need. This is gonna be sweet and sour meatballs. I'm gonna leave out the onion. We need an egg and salt and pepper and a cup of breadcrumbs. Do we think I can do this on here? Maybe. I'm gonna write this real quick, sweet and sour. And I'm gonna just put them in here raw. Ooh, you know what? No, I'm not. I'm gonna put them in a different container. I think this will be a lot better. All right, salt and pepper. And then an egg and breadcrumbs. And I think, make a well. Should we do it like how we make pasta? Okay, this is the second time that the handle has gotten stuck on my little bow here and untied it. And a cup. Let's see. How much do we think is a cup? Cup is probably a lot. Okay, we can call that good. Okay, this is working. I just didn't want to get something else out that I would have to clean. I feel like this might have been better with like an Italian style breadcrumbs. Not like the flavor Italian, I don't know, just like the finer ones. These are panko, they're pretty thick. How many do I want to make? I think 12? Or, yeah, that's fine. Twelve are going to fit perfectly in here. Okay, let's see what this sauce needs, and then this is our last one. Brown sugar, water, ketchup, apple cider vinegar, soy sauce, and cornstarch. So I guess I don't need any of those. Let's get this. I think that little bit of, we'll rinse it. I'm gonna do the liquids first because it'll be easier. Wait, I don't need, well, 1 pound. No, I do need the full amount. Okay. Ooh, is that all gonna fit? Cup of water, half a cup of ketchup. Hopefully this will all fit in there. Half a cup of apple cider vinegar, so I can just switch these. Soy sauce, but I have coconut aminos. And then a cup of brown sugar. I didn't grab a big enough thing. Yep, that's okay. I think I need to reset a little bit. Well, most of it's in the container. I'm just gonna mix that together. I don't think this is all gonna fit in there. Yeah, no way. Mm-mm. So I guess we get a cup of sauce. Probably the messiest thing I've done recently. Okay, let's see what we got here. But I think that was quick. How long have we been doing this? It's kind of nice to spend a day cooking but not actually cooking anything. I think the last thing that we need to do is get this labeled sweet and sour meatballs. That's all wet. All right, let's see what we got. Okay, here we are, our sweet chili, our garlic butter steak bites, the fajita chicken, the lemon chicken, the honey buffalo chicken, and then our sweet and sour meatballs, plus the extra sweet and sour sauce. I don't know how that recipe called for making that many meatballs and this much sauce, but that's all right. Alrighty, here they are. If you haven't seen days 1 and 2, I will have those linked over here for you. Stick around for days 3 and 4. We're going to be making more family style meals and those desserts. So I'm very excited to see you next time. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and I will see you on those next videos. Bye-bye.